learner is always at the center of the focus, right? Having said that, I'm predominantly on the learning technology side. This was one of the engagement that I was working. I was a consultant lead probably around like 10, 15 years back. And I was driving their overall learning ecosystem, futuristic learning ecosystem. Like, how would you look your learning ecosystem from here, from like 2 years, 5 years, and what the roadmap looks like, and so on. And that hit me hard in terms of, if the learner is not at the center, at the focal of whatever organization does, it could lead to a massive failure, and any digital transformation for that matter.
Hi everyone. Welcome to another insightful episode of the Digital Adoption Show, Partner Podcast Edition. I'm your host, Doug Figueiredo, and I lead GSI Alliances for North America here at WhatFix. In this series, we will bring you authentic stories of transformation, innovation, and impact, told by people actually making it happen across enterprise organizations. And today's episode, it's all about navigating the role of AI in digital transformation, rethinking change management, and understanding how adoption is becoming a strategic lever, not just an IT afterthought. And I couldn't be more excited about today's guest. Joining me is someone who brings a rare balance of deep domain knowledge, technical expertise, and on-the-ground leadership. Fayaz Nagoor is the global lead for digital adoption platforms at Cognizant, and he has been driving some of the most complex digital initiatives across industries. Joining me is someone who brings a rare balance of deep domain knowledge, technical expertise, and on-the-ground leadership. Fayaz Nagoor is the global lead for digital adoption platforms at Cognizant, and he has been driving some of the most complex digital initiatives across industries. He's not just implementing tools, he's helping enterprise reimagine how change happens, whether it's helping global organizations to build sustainable governance models, embedding AI into their user journeys, or making digital adoption a measurable, ROI-focused practice. Fayaz brings clarity that's both strategic and grounded. Fayaz, welcome to the show. It's great to have you here.
Thank you so much, Doug. I'm really super excited and pumped for this episode, and really thanks to all of you within WhatFix team, and Doug, especially to you. I've been working with you for last year very closely, so it's been like really exciting ride working between Cognizant and WhatFix. So yes, I lead the global adoption platform practice within Cognizant at a global scale, and digital adoption platform has been very close to my heart because one of the most important things that drives me there is it's a human core solution where it brings really difference in the way that people equip themselves, reskill, upskill themselves, and so on. And I'm a core learning person right from the beginning of my career, so this is very close to my heart. And I would really thank and take a moment to thank my global lead, who is Suranjana Das Gupta, who is the global lead for digital learning, who leads within Cognizant, and she put me in charge, and she has entrusted me to take this practice to the next level, and we are really looking forward to that. And within Cognizant, we actually are reshaping the entire stuff. Like, we are really focusing on human core solution, which is experience-led and AI-powered solution. So this is a perfect solution for any in-app or application-based training. So really excited to be here, and looking forward for the conversation, Doug. Thank you.
No, thanks for that, Fayaz. Appreciate that. So let's rewind a bit before we dive in. Your career spans from over 2 decades of leading digital transformation programs, building strategy playbooks, and empowering people through technology. What was the moment where you realized that digital adoption wasn't just a technical problem? It was actually a business problem with a human core.
Yeah, I mean, ever since I started my career within the learning domain, I always been a believer of learner is always at the center of the focus, right? Having said that, I'm predominantly on the learning technology side. This was one of the engagement that I was working. I was a consultant lead probably around like 10, 15 years back. And I was driving their overall learning ecosystem, futuristic learning ecosystem. Like, how would you look your learning ecosystem from here, from like 2 years, 5 years, and what the roadmap looks like, and so on. And that hit me hard in terms of, if the learner is not at the center, at the focal of whatever organization does, it could lead to a massive failure, and any digital transformation for that matter, right? And we all know that most of us are in the process of transforming ourselves from an organization perspective. And that was a moment where I felt like, and that was a pivotal realization for me, like, if you do not bring empathy, right communication, and highly integrated ecosystem for the learner, those are some of the components really going to impact towards the workforce transformation, the way that they perform their job daily.
Yeah, I completely agree. Thank you. All right, Fayaz, let's paint a quick picture for you. So if you are in the leadership offsite dinner, sitting next to a CXO, midway through the meal, they casually ask you, "Oh, we already spent heavily on enterprise software. Why we should invest in more digital adoption, like what fix?" So imagine that you're not pitching, just sharing your perspective as someone who's seen that, like what works, what doesn't work. What would be your take here? How do you make them see adoption is not a nice to have thing, but core to realize their ROI?
Yeah. First of all, it's very difficult for me to take my eyes off of chicken or steak. But I'll still do my best. The jokes apart. So that's a very important discussion for me, and I always believe in make it relevant for any organization, for whoever my customers are that we are talking to. And I start with very high level series of questions, and it's very important that we understand their pain points and problem statement. So in this case, I really want to dig into, like, do they really have an adoption problem, or what the problem statement looks like from leadership perspective, and where they are looking at it. And if the answer is no, I'll be intrigued to know that how are they doing it, which kind of is a really interesting conversation on the side. But then if the answer is yes, I would like to dig around a bit further in terms of what tool that they're using, and where they see that a lot of focus or the attention is required, specifically on the application training area, in terms of like how the process quite often changes with the new trends and technologies and things like that. Once you nail down that particular problem statement, you have to make it very relevant. And we bring in, and my perspective is like, bring a relevant, successful use case or a case study, that how have you helped in other places, so that they can really connect with the problem statement, and hey, here is what you're talking about. And the second most important thing is the focus on the ROIs, or the business value realization that you would bring with this particular tool, right? Because by end of the day, you just not implement an adoption tool just to provide training, but to change the way that they are working, to make it faster, better, effectively. The curve that you have for knowledge retention is high, and things like that. So those are some of the use cases that can bring in. So in my story or an elevator pitch, I would really focus on what the problem statements are and what relevant use cases that I am bringing to the table as a value for my customers.
No, that's great. So a question for you. I was reading a report from IDC, and in such report, they predict that by 2026, 65% of the organizations will depend on ecosystem-based transformation partnerships. And what they really mean is like that companies are no longer looking into system integrators just as a delivery vendor. Like they want more strategic collaborators, people who can co-own outcomes, guide change, and bring together the right mix of technology, people, and processes. And I believe that's a big shift in how digital transformation is being approached today, right? So let me ask you this. So as a prominent leader, like in a global system integrator consulting company, you are the very forefront of digital transformation. And with that, beyond just technology implementation, what's the evolving role of like a system integrator and a consulting firm into guiding their clients through their most complex digital transformation or change management journeys today?
Yeah. In this context, Doug, I really emphasize on the word called partnership and relationship, which is very important to go a long way, right? And to me, digital transformation is not a destination. It's a journey that you go through, and while you go through that journey, and a lot of things changes demographically, technology-wise, culture-wise, process-wise, and so on. The way that the style that we work in, we want to be partners to our customers in their journey, and we want to make sure that we understand and share their vision, where they want to be, and help them in terms of collaborating what they actually are looking for. And the value that we bring in partnership is like looking through that long-term lens, that how impactful that it could be, what are some of the things that they could change, technology-wise, operational-wise, workforce-wise, and so on. And it is also important that you have a shared responsibility and accountability with partner. And it's an ecosystem, right? And when you work with your customer, there are specific key stakeholders that come from different divisions. At the same time, as an organization, as a partner to our customers, we also bring in that particular workforce and army to make sure that we can help them towards that particular transformation. So I totally agree in terms of the way that we are moving towards is more in, people look at us as more in partnership that can have a long-standing relationship, because it has different components in terms of how it is going to transform their lives. And for an organization to reach towards that objective, the vision and the mission, and it is just not that, you have then change management, you have then governance part of it, and then how that experience is being delivered to the customers and so on. So it's more than system integrated, and we have been working in that fashion. I'm very close, and my style is like that, to work very closely with the customer, to put ourselves into their shoes and look at that thing.
Yeah, to really understand, like their challenges and like brainstorm with them the solutions, right?
Okay.
So and think about that, like how's the ideal, from your perspective, how's the ideal dynamic between a system integrator consulting company and a client change in this past like 5 years regarding digital transformation?
So when you get started with your customer, you have to be there in their entrusted circle. Like there are different types of circle, but you get into that circle in terms of like when you, as I said, when you share the vision, when you have a shared responsibility and accountability and so on. Even if a partner comes in as just a system integrator, I think the way that it is evolved is people bring in different experience and expertise from different walks of life. And now the change that I'm seeing is like the customers are really opening up to say that, hey, what do you think about this one? And probably that might not be my forte, right? So, or some other team is working on those things. What's your perspective and so on? The reason that is happening is that because organizations are really focusing on shift in culture, shift in mindset. And those are adoption actually helps the people to equip themselves through that particular journey and actually focus on whatever organization, the transformation that they are going through. They are really, really focusing on a very, very positive change that needs to happen at a long-term perspective, right? So it's like more in terms of focusing on the cultural shift and mindsets, that I would say.
No, that's great. And can you share a scenario where, like your role changed from just like like leading an implementation to something more as like a strategic disruptor for a client, for example?
Yeah, and this is very interesting to me also, and because I saw a lot of. It was a long project of transformation. I was brought in only to say that hey, here is a problem statement. And in fact, here is the view, not even a problem statement. So I went there for like 3 months to do a small consulting engagement and say that, hey, what do you want and things like that. And I ended up like to realize them, here is your problem statement. And to do this, you need to put together a futuristic architecture of the learning ecosystem so that you understand what are the different components of it. So I was just a consultant lead, but then gave them the roadmap of it, like, oh, okay, fine. And that was like very highly appreciated. And then I got involved in it, like kind of, ventured into like multi-year program. We formed a big team and so on. The ask was like, and then I realized the ask was like changing them from traditional way of learning to completely modernize the way that learning happens in all components of it, right from the design, right from re-strategizing it, right from developing the content, delivering it, the experiences, the performances, the ongoing support that needs to be performed. So the whole 9 yards of the learning from a 360-degree view was completely reimagined. And I would say, like, I entered as like small consultant lead, where I just wanted to make sure that, okay, we understand the problem statement, here is what, but then it ventured out to be multi-year, where I had to walk them through and help them through the journey, implement it and roll it out and things like that. So that was like very interesting case study for me.
That's great. So basically, like from like an executor of like a plan, during this execution, you realize that there were some like loopholes there that that you need to fix, and then your role become more like a strategic advisor. That's a very
much, yeah.
So when I talk to some of the strategic enterprise leaders, like value realization and ROI means very different things from different teams, right? So while IT might be measured upon time and ticket reduction, business leaders are starting to look at things like employee enablement and customer satisfaction, especially because, like when you take too long to, enable an employee, like that's money that you leave on the table, right? So from your perspective, how are leading organizations and your customers truly measuring the holistic success and impact of their digital transformation or change management initiatives in this rapidly changing environment, especially with AI coming in?
Yeah, so you are actually right on spot, and ROI means different for different teams and leaders. But the way that we are seeing, and all the forward-thinking leaders that they want to blend this qualitative and quantitative KPIs together, like how adoption rates successfully transforms into productivity gains. Some of the qualitative insights that brings in from an user interaction or a behavioral analytics or an experience analytics that they kind of perform over the application and how well they are and so on, like how it empowers and drives the successful change across the organization. And given that AI is playing such an important role, basically it gives a lot of ability to understand, have an actionable insights, and clearly provides that pavement in terms of like where my workforce is lagging and where more attention is required, or what they are good at and so on, that can be really capitalized on that and so on. And specifically from an ROI perspective, I think like the classic example would be ROI from the same initiative. A business might have a different ROI and an IT might have a different ROI, right? So we can talk about the examples, but that's how I kind of see, and it is very important that you correlate, you make it relevant, and you cater to all the needs of those key stakeholders. It is just not you catering to business, but also to the IT people, or also to the HR function, or whatever it is going to impact.
No, I completely agree. So what challenges the organizations face in moving beyond traditional ROI metrics, and how do they overcome them?
What I've seen in the overall, in this particular initiative is like we define the digital transformation end state, or not, I wouldn't say end state, but then digital transformation, how it needs to look around, like what the objectives and the goals are, and what the transformation plan looks like, and so on. And we also put together a plan and a KPI metrics to measure it in terms of employee engagement or customer experience. But these are like really tightly connected. And what happens is sometimes we lose the actionable insight, or we lose the meaning that it needs to transpire into a different component to it, and we lose the integration between these KPIs. It's very important that over a period of time, I think digital transformation is one of the greatest example, because it is just not technology, it's also the culture, it's also the mindset, it is also the business processes and workflows and things like that. You need to have a measurement framework which is very agile, which is kind of a plug and play framework that allows you to plug in, hey, here is the qualitative feedback, here is the quantitative metrics, and here is the adoption analytics, how those business impact metrics are really going to play an important role to transform your workforce. And this also helps in terms of cross-functional collaboration between different department divisions, and the ROI that reflects in specific thing. It's a collation of all of those things that you bring in from an operational efficiency standpoint, as well as an organizational strategic growth standpoint.
And how do you quantify improvements in areas like employee satisfaction, customer experience, or agility, and tie them back to the digital transformations or change management efforts?
Yeah, I mean, you have various different types of measurement framework and so on, right? So I can talk about on and on, but then the most important thing from an architectural perspective, you need to tie back that metrics like NPS scores or surveys or user interaction analytics that actually captures the sentiment and behavioral aspect of a learner or a user through the digital transformation phase, because you need to know that how those are transforming for a person and track back to those adoption rates where a person is able to perform any activity in a much more effective, proficient way. It could be like it is a day-to-day job for that person, or it could be like providing continuous improvement thought process to that particular activity and processes and so on, or it could be like this is where something I'm lagging behind. So the key factor to this one is to establishing the baseline metrics before transformation is planned out. But it is very important that you have some mechanism, strategize it, that you have a continuous measurement mechanism across human interaction as well as the operational dimensions, which is like how the technology plays an important role in this overall adoptions.
Thanks a lot for that perspective, Fayaz. So we talk about that success often varies by team, but user adoption remains as the most consistent indicator of impact. And with WhatFix, organizations have been seen up to 60% boost in feature adoption with just a few months of implementation. And this increase often correlates with reduced support tickets and faster onboarding, and also higher task completion rates across departments, making a strong signal of transformation success. So in your experience, what's the biggest barrier to actual digital adoption that you observe in large enterprise, and how can they truly bridge the gap?
So, I mean, there are common challenges and there are little uncommon challenges that actually digital adoption provides, enables the learner or the user to make their work better, or they perform their activity on a day-to-day basis much better. Couple of things like which are very common in change world, where adoption plays a very important role, is like lack of awareness, resistance to change for application or performances and things like that. The technology stack got changed and all those stuff. acceptance towards demographical differences that you may have within the organization and things like that. And you have all of this and soft skills where the change management plays a very important role and things like that. The uncommon thing, I think, what digital adoption really captures well with regard to the life cycle of a learner is what's in it for me. I play a specific role, and for this role, an application has like 100 features, but then not 100 features are relevant for my day-to-day activity, might be only 20, right? So that role-based small learning nuggets makes a huge impact for the learner and just in time. I'm performing certain thing, I need to know right now, right away. That makes an impact in a learner life cycle right now. I want to know something like that right now. The ongoing support, like I was learning about this like 3 months back, let me search for it. These are some of the uncommon things which digital adoption platforms really captured very well. And those are some of the barriers that it kind of actually negated through the DAP tools that brings in, like WhatFix, that brings in real clarity in terms of how this particular thing going to impact in their day-to-day life. So that would be my perspective to it.
No, great perspective. And how do you differentiate between users having to access a tool and truly adopting as part of their daily workflow? I guess, we always face, this type of issues, at some point in our lives.
Yeah. So one is, I think it's beyond tools also, right? It's also a cultural impact towards the overall adoption that we bring in, right? So the true adoption shows up in day-to-day workflows where users leverage these tools to solve problems. And in this case, it would be like the DAP tool. WhatFix plays a very important role where any user would want to improve productivity, bringing relevance to their job and performance, and also to contribute to the overall ecosystem, how they can help their peers, how that interaction can be built in. And DAP analytics also play a very important role in terms of identifying those components, because me as a learner, I can go in and say that, hey, where are the places that I really need to focus, I really do not have to focus, and which are the parts of my daily workflow and so on. So it's tightly integrated into an ecosystem where human and technology play a very integrated fashion, and that's very impactful to differentiate some of those perspectives.
Oh, great. So let's change, the subject a little bit and focus on AI. So AI is everywhere, right? So in every conversation that, I participate nowadays, it's all about AI. So AI is definitely no longer just a buzzword. So it's a boardroom priority. And while the excitement is real, I've also seen like a mix of like expectation, right? So some people view AI as a silver bullet for every challenge. Others still see like as too complex or reserved for large enterprise. So the reality though is that it's impacting business already, and it's being felt across organizations of all sizes. But in reality, most of the value comes from how it's applied to the ground level, right? How people are actually using their AI, and if they're using, right? So I would love to hear from you. What are the myths about enterprise AI that you wish every business leader would stop believing right now?
Yeah, I think this question is also kind of become a very common, as you said, like it is not a buzzword anymore. It's a boardroom excitement. It is, even the perspective has become very common that AI is not here to replace, to be really honest. Like even I believe that, because what AI does is compute real complex problem, right? But the strategic point of view, the decision making is still with the human. So AI is a component that actually enables. So the way that we have is like technology is the backbone of business, but AI is the enabler of technology today. Like that's how it's kind of encompassed towards it. So everybody should, in some capacity, in some role that they play today, like the way that today the word has been changed to from search to Google. Did you Google that? You don't
Yes.
say, did you search that, right? So similarly, it is going to impact in each and everybody's life. And when it does that, we need to have some level of understanding, and we can actually look at as an AI as a companion than a replacement that needs to be there, right? And the second piece to that component is like, we can create very quickly applications and images and content generation and things like that. Of course, yeah, definitely, no doubt about it. It's going to be like really quick and quick things. But how do you bring value? How do you, connect different components? Even if it is application or different content generation things that has happened. Basically, those are the data that needs to be collated somewhere, build a strategy, build strategy to deliver an experience-led design kind of a thing, where based on this, it enables human to make the right decisions, right? It does not bring value by in itself, but when we take that, you have to mix it up, you have to compose it with the human element of it, and that's where you can bring the value. So some of the myths, actually, this also gets into the cultural level, that how you nurture your culture over a period of time, because it is there, it is going to stay, and it is going to impact, right? We cannot shy away from that, but we need to be with it. But the myth is like, is that going to replace? No, I just need to augment or I just need to reskill or upskill my level so that it helps me. AI helps the human, that how it needs to be done. So that's my perspective of the, AI is very important, but then learner still sits in the fulcrum or the focal of everything.
No, thank you for sharing your perspective. And I actually completely agree with you. And I have been working in technology for quite a while. And I see people, some of my colleagues, like using like multiple AI tools to help them on the day-to-day activities, and some others not necessarily using it. So I truly believe that the AI came, as a tool to help us to become operators and use this towards our advantage, right? So with that, can you share some real-world example where this myth that you were talking about led an organization astray or caused significant setbacks?
Yeah, one good example or a example that I can think of is like good old school days tradition kind of a thing. Everything was binders, papers, and then it kind of digitized and documents and everything and all, right? So even when the AI pieces comes in, we have a process of like just quoting an example like FAQs, like, have those documents in place so that we can understand better and things. No doubt about it, like fantastic, really great. But if I put AI training chatbot and say, hey, can I get an know-how to perform this particular activity, that's going to throw up like, an FAQ document or a guide document or things like that. And would you have the same knowledge retention? Would you have the same, forgetting curve? Would you have the same level of impact and effectiveness and proficiencies? Might be and might not be, because in most cases might not be, because the moment you look at the document, you perform the activity and get going on that one. But digital adoption brings in a different flavor to it. You are putting that particular platform on top of the application so that it is available for you at any point in time. And the search is made so relevant to your role, to your skills, to what you perform, and those kind of, and just in time kind of a thing really, really addresses those things. So where we kind of implemented this training chatbots with the FAQs and multiple repositories that it is getting connected, of course it is great. But then having DAP implemented, that brings real business value in terms of effort, in terms of productivity, and in terms of dollar values that you can save.
Yeah, and what is the most challenging aspect of dispelling this myth once it's ingrained in the company's culture?
To me, the most important thing is mindset. People have this resistance, or as I said, the lack of awareness and so on, right? The most important thing from a cultural standpoint is while you shift the mindset, do they have the right collaborative culture, fail-safe proof environment where they don't have to worry about it? They still feel vulnerable about it, but failure is learning, right? And what are the tools that has been provided to all of them to make their day-to-day life, that work that they're doing, to make it much better and proficient and effective, right? So there are different components to that one. So while you talk about culture and bringing certain changes in the organization, you need to understand the mindset of the demographics, and at a global scale that you bring in as part of the culture, create that collaborative culture, that people can feel safe in terms of whether they want to try and learn more and things like that, and also provide the appropriate tools to them so that they share the vision of the organization and they see their vision or the aspiration that they're moving towards it, because that needs to tie back. It's just not organization, but also my personal aspiration is tied back, and that you move on.
Great. And what would be a tangible advice that you would give them to shift their perspective?
The most important thing that from my perspective is to have a human-led AI environment, because as I said, AI is not going to go. It's going to stay with us. It's going to make our life only better. That mindset needs to be changed, right? But there is a heavy investment or real focus on how to create that human-led environment, right? Human AI collaboration is really, really pivotal to an organization's transformation or success, because human can really focus on creativity, strategy, decision making, right? And AI is here to really, really focus on data intensive tasks that has really complex problem statement with more than one problem statement with different permutation and combinations, and then provide certain perspective to it, but still that it makes humans' life better to understand in a readable format and to understand that particular data insights and make those decisions and based on the strategy that So my advice, or rather my perspective, is to have that encourage people from a perspective of this is an human-led AI environment. AI is an enabler for us.
No, that's great. And as AI continues to advance, and the conversation around AI adoption and reskilling is becoming more critical than ever, L&D teams are now being asked to evolve just as quickly, right? So in fact, according to the World Economic Forum, by 2025, nearly 50% of the employees will need reskilling, especially in areas like data literacy, ethical AI use, and prompt engineering. So that puts a lot of pressure and opportunity on learning leaders. So from your perspective, what are the most critical new competencies that L&D functions will need to foster right now to ensure a future-ready workforce?
Yeah, that's a great question actually. So to me, the very first thing that comes in, and I think we would have all seen at an organizational level for us, right? AI has brought in very good things. At the same time, it comes up with certain baggage of it, which we need to really be careful, like security and safety, right? That's very important. So you need to understand how AI can also play a role in other side of it so that you're aware, and how do you keep your environment safe. So AI safety training is very important. AI security training is very important. That L&D should focus on some of those things, right? And another specific thing is based on that, how compliances and the processes have been evolved over a period of time, and then how it is impacting not specifically more on the role, but not very specifically on the organization side of it, right? So how you equip yourself with those of things, and L&D should also focus on some of those common angles of compliances and processes that AI brings it to it. And because of AI, there is a lot of changes in the regulatories or compliances or the processes or the workflows in different industries and things like that. And then the piece is where you really focus on your specific role and skills, how AI can really help you to perform your job better. It could be your digital adoption platform, or it could be your micro learning, or it could be your adaptive learning, and all those stuff that comes into play, right? So and I think over a period of time, L&D will also call different names as we go on evolve. Like, for example, there will be AI, coach integrator or curriculum integrator or Gen AI training specialist and things like that. I'm just throwing out certain names, and where we need to be really creative about, how you bring in the learning domain expertise that is tied with your AI capabilities that needs to be done from a domain skills perspective, that you can really play a very important role.
Great. And is there any specific roles or departments where you see the greatest urgency for these new AI-driven competencies?
From my perspective, it spans across, like, be it HR, be it IT, be it compliance, be it finance, be it security. So the level or the percentage varies. Like, technology is really heavy because IT is very heavy, because every solution can revolve around it, because we are really focused on the automation part of it, making life better, making things faster and things like that. So that kind of cuts across, right? And AI skills and competencies in itself needs to have an architecture where, as I said, like, there are certain skills that you need to have at a safety security level that you need to understand. You need to understand how AI is going to impact your compliance or ethical awareness of it and things like that. And then what's the roles that you want to play. So from a skills and competency perspective, there are different levels where what is in it for your particular role and how it is going to impact. So spans across every division in the department, but the percentage involvement is differs.
Yeah, and how would you recommend, like, L&D teams to stay ahead of the curve in identifying emerging AI-related skills that are needed for their jobs?
Increase your awareness on the technology, and be more tech savvy, because when I see the learning roles, right, really heavy focused on the content creation, the design part of it, but the technology sometimes takes a little backseat and all those stuff. Now all of those things have coming towards more in the front to help design better experiences and design better delivery modalities and things like that, right? So I would say make more tech savviness, bring more tech savviness, and rework on the skills and competencies for each and every learning roles that we have, specifically on the design and development side of it. Like, for example, as I was talking about, AI integration leaders and experience architects, Gen AI training specialists, digital fluency coaches, so curriculum manager in AI. So those are the aspects that you can bring in really, if you can embed those skills in those particular roles, because your domain expertise needs to be there, because that's not going to go anywhere. Because, like, for example, if I'm going to talk about instructional designer, they bring in certain values that how the overall content needs to be strategized and delivered and experienced. Now you're talking about enabler, where that enablement needs to be also brought into your core skills and competencies so that you can do your job better. So those are some of the roles that I would really envisage in the future, that how it is going to transform the roles from a learning perspective.
Thanks a lot, Fayaz. This has been such a great conversation. But before we wrap up, do you have any final thoughts or a key piece of advice for our listeners who are navigating digital transformation and driving adoption in this recently increased AI-driven world?
Yeah, so there are two components and two aspects to it from my perspective. Empathy is very important, and specifically when AI plays a very important role. Lead with empathy. Really trust and invest in enablement of workforce and culture and things like that. Build a human-led AI environment where technology amplifies the human potential, and learner or the people or a human is going to be center of any transformation initiative, and adoption is going to play a very important role, and it actually allows you to do better job and keep you focused, think more about innovation, think more about automation and things like that, right? And take AI as companion and not as alternative, and as much as possible understand AI skills, upskill AI skills for your required specific role. And my way of looking at this one is like, when I look back, when the Word and Excel, PowerPoint and all came in and everything was like different, we were excited to learn, but even that was difficult. And that's how AI is going to be. And more we move further, AI is going to become the basic stuff of it, like an Office 365. Even today, like we use Copilot, right? I mean, immediately, like, what's in it and how do we do better? Like,
yeah. Just imagine the future ahead of us.
Exactly.
No, that's brilliant. Thank you so much, Fayaz, for being an incredible guest and sharing, thoughts and practical, forward-looking insights with us. Thanks a lot for sharing your thoughts and insights, Fayaz. I would like to wrap our podcast with a little fun game of this and that, if you agree with that.
Yeah, of course. Absolutely. Let's bring it on.
All right, perfect. So, one-click automation or step-by-step guidance?
I would this is a perspective. So do I have an option to say both, neither, or either? Just just kidding, because it's a very tricky one. But it depends, and it's sometimes it's both, because it also kind of depends on how you apply for it, because each has its own perspective and it needs its balance. And not one strategy fits all, because ease is all about experience and clarity is about how you perform the training. But if I have to choose one, Doug, I would say one-click automation, just get it done and things all right? So yeah.
Perfect. So another question: 4-day work week forever or unlimited upskilling budget? More time or more learning?
Okay, so you're tempting me now. So 4-day work sounds absolutely tempting and fun, but but if I have to go, I would say unlimited upskilling, because it brings a lot of enablement with it. It actually empowers people to adapt, innovate, and lead in ever-changing environment, and that itself makes the person much more better and faster over a period of time. So anytime upskilling, reskilling, upskilling.
Great. So another question: automate everything or explain everything clearly? So do it faster or do it better?
Again, it's a perspective. Automation actually offers a very significant value based on whatever the objective that you have defined for. But if you do not define your objective very clearly, then automation could be misleading, could be confusing, and things like that, right? I'm all in for intelligent automation, that we bring it to the table, but the priority would be do it better, because that's very reliable from a long-term perspective, and you need to actually enable through automation.
Great. And would you rather impress the board or delight the end user? So spotlight on dashboards or applause from the users?
This one is very easy. I think all the questions should have been this one. Always end users, applause from end users, because it's a direct impact that you can see in dashboard. So if your end user is happy, if they are performing the way that they want to be, you have created that environment, you have given that tools, you have given that platforms, they are able to do their job much more effectively, your dashboard always lights up. So I think end user is the answer. Applause from end users.
No, thanks a lot, Fayaz. It was an honor to host you here at our podcast. So thanks a lot, Fayaz. That's brilliant. And thank you for being an incredible guest and sharing such practical, forward-looking insights with us. This has been a truly impactful episode. All of our listeners, you can catch us on all of major podcast platforms, including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Digital Adoption Show for more conversations like this. I'm your host, Doug Figueiredo, signing off. Thank you, and see you at the next episode.
Yeah.